Warning: the following video will contain language of a frank and explicit nature talking about religion and International Blasphemy Day. Viewer discretion is advised. The following video will contain subject matter that the views and opinions may not necessarily be those of YouTube, Google, or any affiliate websites where this will be posted. So, now that the disclaimer's out of the way, hey guys, it's Dave! And welcome to the 2017 International Blasphemy Day. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Religious nuts glaring while atheists swearing there's nothing to fear. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I'm sorry, I had to do this. Now, I'm a live and let live kind of person, but I'm also huge on freedom of speech and expression. And nothing gets to celebrate that much quite like International Blasphemy Day. Now, this year I thought I'd talk about something a little bit different, but something we can all relate to. Faith. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having faith. Like I said, I believe certain things. I mean, I was raised Christian, but then I started discovering a few things. Things that I eventually started having put together in my book. The Book of Bio-Spiritual Yum Yum Goodness. Thoughts, Theories, and Humor from a Hypersensitive Fanboy Comedian. So, yes, I know it's backward. I'm using the flip the camera on my phone. So, anyway, check it out. It's good stuff. And I think you might get a kick out of it. So, anyway, there are certain things that I think of myself as, quasi-spiritual, but not so much religious. But religion is a pattern of rules and traditions to follow that's supposed to help you on a spiritual path. But spirituality is something rather unique. Now, given that I discovered that I am an emotional hypersensitive, this means that I take input from around me and my body amplifies it. Now, this gives me certain things that could be considered preternatural or paranormal. I can feel emotions of other people around me, sometimes so intensely that they override my own, which that sucks. I am also synesthetic, which means that two or more of my senses blend together. I can sometimes taste things that I touch, and sometimes I can actually also feel things that I see as if I were physically touching them. And occasionally, I've had feelings or intuitions about the future or certain things like that I couldn't consciously know. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having faith and belief, but because I started finding out that things that I thought were supernatural or paranormal were actually biological and scientifically backed, I started realizing that there's things that we don't quite fully know about ourselves. We're still trying to figure that out. I can make educated guesses, but there's no way in fucking hell I'm saying it's going to be a religion. And I'm not. I even have things in my book where I say, I don't want anything I do to be used as a religion. Ever. I like to have a discussion. I like to talk about this shit. But I'm not going to be the next L. Ron fucking Hubbard, okay? Sorry. I won't, It's a cult. Oh, fuck your Ingrams. I don't know why. Every time I start getting excited to talk, my nose itches like I'm a goddamn cocaine addict. Oh, the nose knows. Anyway. Faith is something that we all have. It's belief in something, even if we don't necessarily have reason to do so. We can have educated guesses, we can have all that, and that's fine. But from a scientific standpoint, and this is something that I have to do just to keep myself from going nuts because of my own senses, there's nothing wrong with having intuitions or abilities like that. We're still trying to figure out the full nature of our senses. Personally, I have thoughts about that we are more capable of picking up the surroundings than we believe, and there might have something to do with the atmosphere as well. I have a theory about. Let me tell you what I personally believe. As someone that is a bit empathic, I believe in what certain anecdotal things have said about something called life review. Now, basically, since I feel other people's emotions like that, and we're all kind of like a big circuit of it, if you go along that the right path, then things kind of tend to line up because, in a weird way, we're all being kind of both self-centered and for the common good at the same time. A part of us already knows these things. It's just that our conscious minds aren't fully aware of it, so our subconscious minds are trying to fill in the gaps where they can. I talk about a cool thing about my theory about precognition in my book. It actually gives a more scientific explanations. I think it's worth taking a peek at. You can buy my book on Amazon, Create Space. I can get the most money out of Create Space. And you can order it at most book websites, so enjoy that. Anyway, this is the third year of it, so hey. Anyway, so because this is something I can personally relate to, it's not a big stretch when I hear people talk about how if they have near-death experiences, they go through life review. Now, you might hear about a person's life flashing before their eyes. Only in this case, it's more intense. They are talking about how when you do, you actually experience key moments in your life as if you were the people you were interacting with. You get to feel their emotions. So if you were good to somebody, you get to feel how good you made them feel from their perspective. But if you fucked someone over, or if you hurt them, you get to feel that too. That makes sense to me because of my own personal experiences. And, of course, after you judge, if you're judged essentially through positivity or negativity, depends on where your energy, your essence moves on. Now, I know people have also talked about having near-death experiences and seeing heaven or hell. It's completely anecdotal. There's no hard proof on that yet. It is kind of funny, though. There have been scientific experiments done where people praying have been able to affect things like protozoa, sick people. They actually have an actual diagnosed reaction on the physical world around them. Scientists have also figured out that certain people are better at it than others, much like certain people are better inclined to be athletes or artists. Now, this means that this is a personal human thing, which means that the things that we think of as our faith may actually just be a quality and trait of humanity, or Homo sapiens, that maybe we have just yet to fully expand. But that means a lot of things that we also think about, as far as for our personal religions, we also project out onto other people. We project our beliefs, and we have that's fine about living our own lives to our own beliefs. But the second you start telling me that your imaginary friend is pissed off because of something I'm doing, that I'm not harming anybody, go fuck yourself. Seriously. It's just, and that's the thing. We all talk about faith, but coincidences are essentially a big thing of it. Now, like I said, intuition, that's fine. All of us have had gut reactions where we know something bad is going to happen, we listen to it, and we avoided something. Or we dropped our car keys, which got us late for a meeting, but that prevented us from getting into a car crash. If we had left at the original time, then we would be in trouble. See, these are all things that happen. Do I believe that there might be some kind of influence over it? Possibly. I think it might be a subconscious thing that we do. I think we have more control and power than we give ourselves credit for. But like I said, it's subconsciously locked away. My book also talks about the theory about how to possibly tap into that. But like I said, right now, it's all conjecture. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And I'd be happy to learn from it, incorporate that information into my collective, and move the hell on. I'm all for that. But other people, not quite. Other people get raised into religious dogma, and they're essentially told to stop thinking about it so much. Do what you can to make sense of what you want, but just ignore the other stuff. Or there's the enemy, or it's the devil, or whatever. Oh, for fuck's sake. You guys know that essentially Satanism was invented by the Catholic Church, right? I mean, it's not real. They're just looking for the other side of the coin. And I'm mentioning there's other been more recent things trying to pop up for religious things. And yeah, there's some positive sides to them. But I'm not going to fall into them because it's the other side of the same fucking trap. And I'm just sorry. I'm not interested. More power to you. Whatever. But see, that same faith is something we don't like to think about because it's also very human. And we think of faith as coincidences that fall into the benefit for us. See, like I said, we pray, a stroke of good luck comes our way. Sure. We think, okay, we thank God or whatever the forces that did it. Something influences that we can't quite understand. So we give a name to it. God, whatever. But what about all those times we have wished for something? We wished for someone to die, or we wished for something to happen, and it doesn't happen. Now, I know there's bullshit they're saying, well, maybe, unanswered prayers are also a good thing. No, 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 no. How come the same force that we try to attribute faith to is able to give us one thing, but really not able to help us on other things? It's not dependable, because it's statistically speaking, it's no different than random chaos theory. You'd be better off being a chaos theorist calculating this shit. And then you'd be able to calculate the odds in your favor. That's all it is at times. Do we have certain abilities that we may not fully understand yet? Sure. But faith, you gotta wonder what you put your faith in. I mean, here's an example. Trump. Jesus fucking Christ on a crucifix rotisserie. There are people that believe that Donald J. Trump is the God candidate. This motherfucker lies. He cheats. Several business ventures he's done just falls the fuck through. He promises things he doesn't deliver. I mean, I'm not trying to give in to faith here, but if anything, this orange motherfucker has fallen more into the category of the Antichrist. But I digress. He's just an incompetent guy that people bought into his bravado and bluster. Even though the fact that he's lied, even the fact that he's been caught in lies, even the fact that logic has disproven the bullshit that he has said time and time and time and time and time again, there's just something about the man that people feel comfortable with. They put their faith in him. They're fucking wrong, okay? You think this motherfucking asshole was the God candidate? I'm sorry to say this, but whoever imaginary friend is telling you that this guy is the best thing for this world, your imaginary friend's a fucking asshole, okay? Yes, I will laugh because that's the truth, man. We all talk about the faith when something we believe in goes right. But how about all the times we ever wished for something in a winning lottery ticket, or played a contest, or were sure we aced a test, but we were wrong? That is on us, okay? Same statistics. It's our gut. It's not always reliable because we're trying to calculate so many variables, not to mention our own moods and things, so it's hard. We can blind ourselves to things. Logic is a good way to go, in my personal opinion, because it's a foundation of things that should work no matter how you put them together. A plus B equals C. They're an order that should work as long as you're taking all the variables into account. But people are chaotic motherfuckers. Another thing is that, here's a personal thought. Scientists have said that every time we get sick, viruses actually encode themselves into our DNA. So, part of our advancement is that we are viruses. We're more cognitively advanced than our ancestors a few centuries ago, especially a few millennia ago. Definitely more than a few 100,000 years ago. And yes, Earth is not 6,000 years old, you dumb fucks. Earth is not flat, it is round. Yet people are persisting on the stupidity, and I cannot fucking stand that shit. They ignore logic to go with what makes them feel better, like they're clinging to something as if they were giant children holding on to their blankies or teddy bears. Now, like I said, with my senses, I figured out a while back at church, the thing I thought was Jesus or whatever wasn't. It was the energy of people focusing on a certain thing. That's the thing I felt. It's the same thing that when we go to a sporting event, we feel the roar of the crowd, or go to a concert, we're all hyped for the same thing. It's a human thing, guys. It's a human thing where we focus our energy and we're able to pick that up from other people. And when I realized that, hey, there is no real God. There's no Satan trying to talk us. It's just us. And we're still trying to figure shit out. But then other coincidences started to happen. Things blocking me from things that could be a lot worse. So, like I said, intuition's something. And there's something there. But we've still got to figure it out. And I have no problem with you having faith. But don't force it on other people. And when logic comes in, don't curl up like a little pill bug. If you're going to advance, stop being of a primitive mindset from over 2,000 years ago. Earth is not flat. It is round. We've been to the moon. That wasn't faked. There is so much possibility in the cosmos that it is amazing. And we could be part of that. But we're also fallible. We need to stop making so many mistakes, or at the very fucking least, learn from them. And if you think that Jesus is a white guy, no. That's Cesare Borgia, the illegitimate son of a pope who killed his own brother to take his part in the papal army, who also was a bisexual. So, he had an affair with Leonardo da Vinci. So, if you're praying to a white Jesus, you're praying to a guy who betrayed his own family for power and knows what dick tastes like. It's a fact. Look it up. So, take a look in the mirror sometime and try to examine what exactly is you have faith in and who. There's nothing wrong with having faith in good friends, family, authority figures that have actually been there for you. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But just make sure that, I know it can hurt. I know that faith can hurt when it's broken. I don't like putting people through that kind of pain. That's why I try to say this for just once a year. But another thing I don't like, to give. I mean, like I said, freedom of speech I'm all for. But you're talking to someone who's also had a history of being suicidal and depressed. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Due to circumstances about things feeling beyond my control, as well as low blood levels because I'm anemic, thanks to my kidneys dying. This is why I've been thinking about what may be on the other side after. Maybe nothing, but the fact that maybe our life balances out and everything makes sense, it's kind of appealing to me, but I could be wrong. However, one thing I don't appreciate is a lack of empathy. And there is one motherfucker that showed a bit of that. A while ago, there was a YouTuber by the name of Noe Bushman, 2 N's in Bushman. And Noe is like Joey, only with an N instead of a J. Who, simply because he didn't like what I had to say, told me that I should kill myself so that YouTube will be rid of me. Yeah, see, due to my low blood levels and everything, and just feeling like shit, this week was the first time in a long time when my depression started coming back. And I was miserable from such pain, lack of energy, and a lot of circumstances. I started thinking that maybe this is hopeless, and maybe death is an option to get out of it, to stop feeling the pain. Of course, I've been through this road before. I know that's not the path I want to go to, and I got shit to do. I may not have as long of a lifespan anymore because of my kidneys, but I'm going to make most of what I've got. So I'm not cashing out, especially not at the request of some little knob motherfucker here. So, yeah, he, of course, then deleted his post after I called him on that shit, and then he goes back to try to explain things. Let me clarify. You tried to clarify what you meant that when you get caught about trying to tell me to kill myself and I have a history of suicidal thoughts? No. This motherfucker's backpedaling like a circus bear on a unicycle. So, I don't appreciate that. Does he have freedom of speech to say it? Sure. But if I commit a crime and he has influence over it, well, he's going to fucking jail. Yes, he deleted that post, but you still did it. And I'm judging you on your action, pal. You didn't try to make it right. You tried to cover your own ass while trying to get away with the fact that you could just shit all over someone when they were on their lowest. I mean, here I am at an emotional ledge feeling that maybe, just maybe, I should fucking jump to end all the fucking pain. And this asshole's telling me I should just jump off? No, 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 no. I'm not taking that kind of request. So, yeah. So, hey, if you guys want to, yeah, why don't you go ahead and let Noe Bushman with two N's know what you guys think about him telling me that I should cash out early. Yeah. Use your freedom of speech. Just don't go too overboard and, hurt him like he hurt me, okay? Anyway, I think that'll do it for International Blasphemy Day 2017. I covered a lot of things. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having faith. Just look at what you measure it by and try to adjust it, guys, because it's a work in progress for everybody. Peace.